today's happy hour. Today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about whether it's really necessary to always be hiring full-time employees. Now, this really depends on the business's requirement and whether or not there's enough scope. So whether or not you hire someone that is part-time, someone that's you outsource a certain role, or you have someone on board freelance, it could really you really need to look at whether there's enough to do. But then again, sometimes there's not enough to do, and it not necessarily mean that you always need someone full-time, because full-time does increase overheads and it reduces profitability. So when is it suitable to hire someone full-time or not? So these are some ways for you to look at it as well. For example, you would hire someone that is part-time for now if the role is, if there's not enough scope, number one. But for you to know if there's enough scope of work, that is, you need to be really sure with whether you need someone like that. So number two, if the role is kind of new to you, for instance, some of you CEOs out there are just about hiring a personal assistant, a PA for the first time, and you're not really sure what you need. You could go with hiring a PA part-time, get your PA coming in about 2 times a week or 3 times a week, doing some part-time stuff, maybe coming in 3 or 4 hours in a day and doing some scheduling for you. That gives you enough opportunity to see what you really need without going all out and hiring someone full-time, and that may cost you a lot of money as well. So that's how you also assess whether you need someone part-time. Other positions, for instance, and how do you know if you outsource? Outsourcing several roles. For instance, a lot of companies outsource to digital marketing companies, digital marketing agencies. Why would you outsource? You would outsource when the roles that you need are, number one, the people required are highly skilled. And perhaps you don't only need one person to have that skill, you need several roles like graphic designers and copywriters and stuff. And so outsourcing is also sometimes very much more suitable when you are trying to gain a very highly skilled function. And digital marketing companies or outsourced companies will be willing to receive a small retainer from several companies depending on what they're doing, but they receive average retainers, and then they are able to work with other clients as well. So the economies of scale allow the cost of having that function a lot lower versus actually hiring the in-house team yourself. So that, of course, is a whole other project. But if you're going to build that in-house team, be prepared that you're going to have to train them. They're going to have to be good. But then that's a whole other conversation. So if you can outsource for a certain skill, that may serve you as a business as well. You might also get on board freelancers. Freelance positions, I feel not every position can be freelance. So, but what I feel are freelance positions have a clearer performance requirement. Not all positions. I'll give you some examples of positions that are suitable for freelancing. Freelance writers, freelance bloggers. You have to write a certain amount of articles in a week and a certain number of words in an article. So it's easy to, this is what I mean by having the performance ring-fenced. For instance, programmers, data entry. So these are suitable for you to have as freelance positions. A freelance PA, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if a freelance PA could work. Because number one, sometimes you're not so sure as a CEO what are the needs, and the needs could always be changing. And so if you're going to try and draw up performance requirement for a freelance PA, I'm not so sure how that would be. But that would also be something to consider, because there are virtual PAs out there that are freelance-ish. But again, you have to define the performance requirements. If you're going to have someone freelance, have a very clear performance requirement before you take on a position like that. Okay? So there you have it, guys. This is the happy hour for the week. one of the things that I realize is that sometimes big businesses feel that, I'm a big company, everyone has got to be a full-time employee, and that's not necessary, because remember this, when you have full-time employees, they do eat, there's more responsibility, yeah, that's for sure, number one. Number two, they do eat into profitability as well, and the name of the game now is to stay competitive, is to stay as lean as we can possibly. So some of the good opportunities for companies who want to stay light and lean is to try and consider some other positions that are not so full-time-ish. Start relooking into the scope. And I get this as well from some smaller companies that come talk to me and say, hey Maresa, I'm a really small company, and because I'm just starting out, I can't see myself having another full-timer that could help me. I'm not even paying myself a full-time salary just yet. We're a startup. So I say, well, look, there are so many other options out there where you could hire someone part-time. Those opportunities are endless. There are so many graduates or interns that could work with you. You have retired personnel that just want to work 2 or 3 times a week. They don't want a full-time position as well. You could consider outsourcing as many positions as you can, and even working with freelancers. There's so many of them that are, and it's so easy now to work with freelancers through Fiverr.com. But again, those are again all just project based, but there are so many different resources out there. And so if you want to stay lean and you're heavily bootstrapping, a good consideration is to try and stay as lean as you can for as long as you can. All right. And so guys, there you have it. This is today's happy hour. I hope you found it useful. But remember this, guys, have a great business and have a great life, because being in business is all about having more life. Take care. See you next week.